Could I have your attention, please? Yes, we'll have to all turn this way. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Just temporarily. Welcome, on behalf of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, in conjunction with the Picnic Theatre Company, we are proud to welcome you to our ongoing series, British Murders Most Foul. Tonight's episode is brought to you by that master of mystery herself, Miss Agatha Christie, as we present to you an unexpected guest. Tonight's performance is made possible by the generous contributions of viewers such as you, as well as our corporate underwriters, Xerox Corporation, and Brill Cream. Brill Cream, a little dab will do ya. So please enjoy Act 1 of Agatha Christie's An Unexpected Guest.
Anyone here? Oh, terribly sorry. Since this confounded fog, I just ran my car off the road into a ditch, and well, I haven't the foggiest idea where I am. I've been driving these twisty lanes for a couple hours now. Sir, are you asleep? Good God! He's dead!
Yes!
You know?
Yes.
Well, he's been shot right through the head. You shot him.
Yes. The telephone is on the table.
Telephone?
You'll want to ring up the police.
Well, I mean, a few minutes one way or the other won't make much of a difference. Besides, it'll be quite a job for the police to get here in the fog. I'd like to know a little more. Who is it?
My husband. His name was Richard Warwick. I'm Laura Warwick.
Oh. See. Well, had you better have a seat? I mean, can I get you a drink? I mean, it must be quite a shock.
Shooting my husband?
I'd imagine so. Or was it just fun and games?
It was fun and games, but I would like that drink.
Well, here you go. Suppose you tell me all about it.
Hadn't you better ring up the police?
All in good time. But nothing wrong with a nice cozy chat first.
I don't. Who are you? How did you happen to come here tonight?
Oh, yes. Introductions. Well, my name is Michael Starkweather. I'm an engineer. My mother's family came from this part of the world, and so I thought I'd buy myself a little house. I've been driving 2 or 3 hours, terribly lost, around these topsy-turvy lanes of South Wales. Anyway, car ran into a ditch, fog everywhere. Saw a gate, groped my way up to the house, saw this door, knocked, it was open, walked in, and whereupon I find...
The door opens and an unexpected guest comes in. That saying always frightened me when I was a child. Unexpected guest. Why don't you ring up the police and get it over with?
Not now. Why'd you shoot him?
What do you expect me to say? He drank, he was cruel. I've hated him for years.
It's a little drastic, don't you think? I mean, you said you hate him for years. Well, why don't you leave him? That would have been simpler, don't you think?
I have no money of my own.
Oh, my dear girl. If you could prove cruelty and habitual drunkenness, well, you can get a divorce or separation. Then you get alimony or whatever they call it here. Anyway.
At least we have no children, thank God.
Well, then why don't you leave him?
Well, you see, now I should inherit all his money.
Oh, no, no, no. No, you won't. Law's not going to allow you to profit from a crime. Or did you think of that? What did you think?
What do you mean?
Well, you're not a stupid woman. I mean, if I hadn't come knocking on that door, I mean, what were you going to do?
Does it matter?
Suppose not. But I'm interested. I mean, what was going to be your story? I mean, if I hadn't come barging in and caught you red-handed, I mean, was it going to be accident? Suicide?
It doesn't matter. I tell you, I'm prepared for the worst.
Just because I came in that door? I mean, you know, if I hadn't.
But you did.
I guess I did. Well, let's rewind a little ways. I mean, you said you hated your husband for years, and tonight he said something. Said something that pushed you over the edge. So you reached for the gun that was lying beside him, and wait. What's he doing with a gun beside him?
He used to shoot at cats.
Cats?
Richard was well known as a big game hunter. That's where we first met, in Kenya. We were married soon after, and 2 years later he had a terrible accident. He was mauled by a lion. He was lucky to escape alive, but he's been a cripple ever since, unable to walk properly. They say misfortune brings out your character. It brought out the very worst in his. Vindictiveness, sadism, violence, cruelty, drinking too much. He made life hell for everyone in this house. But we put up with it because you know what they say? So sad about poor Richard being an invalid. All his life, the thing he liked to do best was shooting. So every night, after I went up to bed, alone, he'd sit there in his favorite chair, and Angel, his valet, would bring his brandy and a gun, and leave the window wide open so that Richard could look out for the gleam of a cat's eye, or a stray rabbit or dog that he could shoot.
Seems like a pretty perverted sense of humor. I mean, why don't you leave him?
He was a terrible man. Must we go on? Don't you realize it would be far better to ring up the police and get it over with?
How much courage do you have? I mean, can you lie convincingly if necessary?
You're crazy.
Oh.
You don't know what you're doing.
Oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. Becoming an accessory after the fact.
But why? Why?
Well, I suppose it's because you're an attractive woman. I'd hate to see an attractive woman locked in prison for the best years of her life.
Everything I've told you may be lies.
Maybe. Maybe I'm a sucker. But I don't know, but I believe you. Look, who else is in this house?
Well, there's Eleanor, Richard's mother. There's Bennett, a caregiver, a hospital nurse who looks after Richard, is very devoted to the family. There's Angel, the valet. And then there's Jan, Richard's half-brother. He's very affectionate and sweet, but he's what they call slow-witted.
But you're very fond of him, aren't you?
Very fond of him. That's why I couldn't leave Richard. You see, he would have sent Jan to an institution.
Yes. Well, I see. How is it that no one heard the shot tonight?
Oh. Well, Eleanor is hard of hearing. Benny's room is on the other side of the house. Angel's room is shut off by a cellar door, and Jan's room is above Richard's, but he goes to bed early and sleeps heavily.
Huh. It's extremely fortunate.
Well, what are you saying? That we could make it look like a suicide?
No, I don't think so. There's no scorching about the temple, so the shot would have had to been taken from quite some distance. So that rules out an accident. Means it's murder, plain murder. Richard have any enemies?
Enemies?
Yeah, anyone from his lion or tiger shooting days?
I can't think.
Come on now, you've told me what kind of man Richard was. Surely there had to be something, someone, threats, justifiable threats.
There was a man whose child Richard ran over when we lived in Norfolk 2 years ago. He was driving drunk, as usual. He went through the village at 60 miles an hour, zigzagging. A child ran out into the street and Richard knocked him down. He was killed instantly.
Richard could drive a car?
Yes, it had to be specially fitted with special controls.
Huh. Well, what about the boy? I mean, was Richard charged for manslaughter?
There was an inquest. Richard was exonerated completely.
Weren't there any witnesses?
The child's father. He saw the whole thing. And a nurse, another of Richard's minions who was in the car with him, Nurse Warburton. According to her, the car was only going 30 miles an hour and he'd had only one glass of sherry and the accident was completely unavoidable. It happened so fast. Of course, the police believed her and not the child's father. Anyone would have believed Nurse Warburton. She was the very epitome of reliability and accuracy and careful understatement.
Were you in the car?
No.
Well, how do you know she's lying?
Richard spoke very freely of the whole thing after he came back from the inquest the next day at luncheon. He said, "Ha! Jolly good show, Warby. You've probably got me off a very long jail sentence." And she said, "Oh, you don't deserve it, Mr. Warwick. You were drinking and driving again, that poor, poor child." And he said, "Oh, forget about it. What's one more brat in this overcrowded world?"
The more I hear about your husband, the more I think that what happened tonight was justifiable homicide. Look, what about the boy's father? Does he still live in Norfolk?
No, he was visiting his wife's relatives. He came from Canada.
Ah, well, that's a long way off. Yeah, I think there's some possibilities here. Take some time to catch up. Look, do you have some newspapers lying around?
Newspapers on the desk. What are you going to do?
Going to manufacture evidence.
But suppose the police find this man.
Ah, Canada's a long way off, but it'll take some time to catch up.
I don't like it.
My dear girl, you can't afford to be choosy. Now, what was the name of this man?
Something Scottish. MacLeod, McGregor, I don't remember.
Can't remember, we'll have to do. Do you remember anything? A date, something useful?
I can tell you the date the accident happened. It was May 15th.
Huh, that solves one problem. We're in luck. This paper's dated the 15th.
But it's November.
All we have to do is deal with the consonants now. M, little A, little Y. Do you have any paste?
What are you doing?
Simple. How to be a criminal in one easy step. First, take a blank piece of paper, the kind they sell all over England. Next, and look here, paste the letters together, little glue. Voila, May 15th, paid in full. Take the letter, fold it up, stick it in his lapel, and then burn the evidence.
Oh, wait, that's my lighter.
Don't get upset. You're not losing your nerve, are you?
No, I've just got to think.
You don't have to think. Just do it on. I'm going to tell you. Now, do you have a furnace down here?
Yes, in the kitchen.
All right. Take this and take it to the furnace and burn it. And run upstairs. You're get into a dress or negligee or whatever you have. And then, do you have any aspirin?
Yes.
Okay. Take the aspirin and dump it into the loo, and then go to Benny's room or your mother-in-law's room, and then say you have a terrible headache. Leave the door open. And then you'll hear a shot.
A shot?
Yeah, leave that to me. And as soon as you do, ring out the alarm. Bring everyone, bring them down here, and this is your story, okay? You went to bed. You woke up with a terrible headache, and then you went to get aspirin. And that's all you know. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Go do your stuff.
You oughtn't to do this. You shouldn't get involved.
Ah, never mind that. Everyone has their, what do they call it, fun and games. Can you do this for me?
Yes.
All right. Do you have a watch? What time is it?
10 to 12.
All right, you have 3 or 4 minutes to take this, get it burned, go upstairs, change, go to Benny's room. You can do this.
Yes.
All right. At 5 minutes to midnight, you're going to hear a shot. All right, get going. Laura, you're not going to let me down, are you?
No.
Okay, good.
Sergeant Cadwallader!
He's in the midst and the mellow fruitfulness, close bosom friend of the maturing sun.
Poetry again?
You'd hardly credit the fine dainties of poetry when you think of the terrible time we had getting here last night, Inspector. Worst fog I've known in years. None of the accidents piled up the way they did on the Cardiff Road.
Have the fingerprint boys finished their job yet?
Oh yes, got them right here.
Any trouble from the household about taking their prints?
No trouble whatsoever. Anxious to help, you might say.
Let's see. All right, we have Richard Warwick, the deceased, Mrs. Laura Warwick, his wife, Mrs. Eleanor Warwick Sr., his mother, Jan, his brother, Bennett the caretaker, and Mrs. Angel, the butler or valet, that's right. And then there'll be 2 other sets of prints. One will be Michael Starkweather's. He gave Mrs. Warwick brandy and brought the gun in from the garden.
Starkweather.
You don't like him?
No, what's he even doing here is what I'd like to know. Runs his car into a ditch and just happens to come into a house where there's been a murder done.
You nearly ran our car into a ditch coming into a house where there'd been a murder done. I asked him what he was doing. Seems he's here looking for a little house or cottage. Hears he had a Welsh grandmother. He used to come up here as a boy.
Well, if you had a Welsh grandmother, that might be a different matter entirely.
I should be getting a report on him from Aberdeen at any moment. In the meantime, about this second set of unidentified prints. The prints of a man's hand lying flat on the table by the body, and blurred impressions on the inside and outside of the French windows.
Gregor.
Could be that there weren't any on the gun, although I suppose you'd think a man with sense would wear gloves.
An unbalanced man like McGregor wouldn't think of a thing like that. Perhaps it was a guest in the house.
I understand from Mrs. Warwick that there weren't any guests in the house yesterday, but perhaps that Angel will know more. Ask him to come in, Sergeant.
Yes, ma'am. Henry Angel, get in here.
Yes, Mr. Angel, have a seat. Now, you have been butler and valet to Mr. Warwick for how long?
Well, mister, do you sincerely expect me to answer her inquiries?
We do sincerely expect it, and you will mind your manners. in front of Wales' first female inspector.
That's quite all right, Sergeant. Wales is no quicker to stomach change than anywhere else in the world, I suppose. But what doesn't change, Mr. Angel, is that the law tends to see uncooperative individuals in exactly the same way, regardless of their gender, and that's just having something to hide. Shall we begin again?
Very well, yes ma'am. I was valet to Mr. Warwick for 3.5 years.
Did you like your job?
I found it quite satisfactory.
And what was Mr. Warwick like to work for?
Difficult.
Well, there must have been some advantages.
Well, I was fairly well compensated, yes.
Which made up for other disadvantages?
You see, I was trying to accumulate a little nest egg.
I see. And what's all this business about guns and revolvers and shooting at animals through windows?
It was his hobby. It's what we call in the profession of compensation. He was, I believe, what they term a big game hunter.
And what was the use of having this gun last night in all the fog?
Well, it was just a habit. You could say he was quite used to it.
When did you last see him?
About 9:45. He had his brandy, a glass by his side, and a pistol of his choice. I arranged the rug for him, and I bid him good night.
Did he go to bed?
No, he always slept in his chair. I would come in about 6 a.m. and bring him a cup of tea, and then wheel him into his room for a bath and a shave and so on. He usually slept until about lunchtime. Very eccentric gentleman.
This window here, was it shut when you left him?
Why, yes, there was a lot of fog about it.
Was it locked?
No, ma'am, that window is never locked.
And did you hear a shot last night?
No, ma'am.
Isn't that rather remarkable?
Not really. My room is down a long hallway and through some double doors.
Well, isn't that rather awkward, then, if your master needs to summon you in the middle of the night?
Well, he would do that with a little bell he would ring. It was a rather shrill bell.
Did you not hear anything?
Sergeant Cadwallader. Yes indeed, it's the constable, ma'am.
Thank you, Sergeant. That you, Edmondson? Yes? The aunt. When did she die? 2 months ago. 1830 4th Street, Calgary. Yes? You sending it along? Thank you, Edmondson. Well, we got some of the dope on McGregor. Seems that when his wife died, he left his boy to live with an aunt in Norfolk. You see, he got a job in Alaska, couldn't take the boy. Seems he was pretty cut up by the boy's death, went about swearing revenge on Warwick.
Not uncommon after accidents like this.
He apparently went back to Canada. They've got his address, sent off a cable to Calgary. The aunt he left the boy with died 2 months ago. You were there at the time, I suppose, Mr. Angel? Norfolk? Motor accident? A boy?
Well, yes, I remember it well.
Did it occur because Mr. Warwick had been drinking?
I believe he'd had a glass of sherry, ma'am.
That'll be all for now, Mr. Angel.
Thank you, ma'am.
One more thing. Were there any guests in the house yesterday? Yesterday evening in particular?
Not that I can recall at the moment. To Richard Warwick, I wasn't a man. I was a pitiful valet. But I'm not about to let my station, my role, seal my fate as it did my pathetic father and his pathetic father and his pathetic father and so forth. So I planned. I squirreled away my earnings and I made investments. I wouldn't be a lord, but I'd have my manner. But Richard saw it all and he said, "Oh boy, I've got a real estate scheme that can't lose. Put your lot in that and we'll be rich and we'll laugh about it down at the club."